Hey guys, how's it hanging everybody? This is StormPow, and I got a comment that somebody was asking me how to do this kind of layout here in a live stream where you got yourself kind of popped out here in your stream, and I decided that I would make a video to show you guys how to do it because you, the people, deserve to know. So anyway, guys, luckily I am better at making stream designs and content creation than I am at playing video games, and I am happy and excited to share this with you and show you how I've done this layout here. All you need is some free software, and of course you do need a green screen and some good lighting, but luckily I've got you covered on there. You guys can actually go to my kit.co profile. The link for that will be down below in the description, and I will always have some sort of green screen and some sort of lighting in one of my kits there that I have set up for high quality but low budget streaming, and that is always going to have what my current recommendation for green screens and affordable lighting are. And so feel free to check that out and feel free to purchase those items. That does support the channel when you do so, and it will get you some good gear at a good price that can help you accomplish this and whatever else you may have in your content creation goals. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So for the purposes of this video, I am going to be using Streamlabs OBS, but of course these principles can be applied to regular OBS Studio or any other version of OBS that you guys use. It can even be applied to XSplit pretty much, or any other major streaming software, because all these things are pretty much the same. So anyway, I've created a new scene here, blank, nothing in it right now. So we're going to go ahead and go to add a new source. We're going to go ahead and go to video capture device, and we're going to add that source. So this is obviously going to be my webcam. So we're going to name it that just to help keep us organized here. And let me go ahead and load this up. We're going to want to go ahead and select the C922 Pro Stream webcam, but if you're using something else, then, you know, it might be listed differently, obviously, if you're using like a stream cam or anything like that. And so right now, it has got me as a square, and we want this to be wide, you know, because we want to be able to capture the whole frame. So basically what I need to go ahead and do is I need to change some of the settings on here, and you may not have to do this on your camera, but if this is a brand new scene collection, then you're probably going to have to do this. So if you see anything like this, we're going to want to change the resolution and the FPS, because sometimes the device default can be a little strange. So we're going to want to go ahead and change this over to custom, and it's going to look like crap here in just a second, but we're going to fix that. So right now it's got me way huge, way choppy. We're going to want to go ahead and change the resolution to 720p. If your webcam supports 1080p, you can do that. But just for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to do 720p. And then we're going to want to go ahead and change the frame rate to 30. But again, if your webcam supports 1080p, 60 FPS, whatever, you can do whatever combination it supports. But now, as you can see, we're of a normal size. We're capturing the whole frame here, and it's not choppy. So we're good to go. So now we're going to want to go ahead and select done, and we're going to want to go ahead and move this webcam around because we're going to want this to be pretty big. Generally, this type of look does work best if you are kind of like big. So we're going to want to make this probably about this size here. And what we're going to want to go ahead and do now is put some kind of a background in there. And what we're going to do is basically put the background that I'm going to be behind, but what's going to be in front of the gameplay. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a sec. I'm going to show you guys how to make something very simple, and we're going to be using Gimp, which is a completely free program that you guys can use. A lot of you guys are familiar with it. It's been around for a long time, but it's basically like a free alternative to Photoshop, and you can go ahead and download it, and we're going to go ahead and make a very simple background, and you can get as complicated with this as you want, but just for the purposes of this, we're going to make something real quick in just a few seconds. So we're going to go ahead and go to File, New, and let's make something that is 1920 by 1080, sure. But, you know, we could make this 720p, no big deal. But what we're going to go ahead and do is just make a simple gradient. So we're going to go ahead and locate the gradient tool over here. And I'm going to pick two colors. So, you know, I usually like kind of a like navy blue or something like that. So let's go ahead and find like a kind of a cool blue. And then we're going to get another blue of like a slightly different kind of color, you know. So basically two colors that are pretty similar over here. And we're going to go ahead and change this over to a radial gradient. That's what I like right there. And so we're going to start the mouse kind of somewhere here, kind of around the middle, and we're going to drag it over to the edge. And so as you can see, this makes a very subtle kind of gradient. And we can adjust this a little bit. You can make the radius of it a little bit smaller. You can make it bigger. You can change the colors because, like, for example, I may decide that I want this to be a little bit less subtle. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make this edge. So you can just click that other color and we can adjust this in real time. So I'm gonna change this other color. I'm gonna make it a darker blue, I think. And we're just gonna do that. So once we're done with that, we are gonna go ahead and basically select any other tool and it'll save that. And there we go. We have a background that is, you know, not completely solid or anything like that. It looks a little bit more professional because it's got something else going on. But again, you can mess with this as much as you want. We're gonna go ahead and go to export as, and we're gonna save this file. So now we're back in OBS and we're gonna go ahead and add that image that we just created. We're gonna go ahead and go to add a new source. And we're gonna go to image, and we are going to go ahead and add that in there. So we're gonna name this the radial background. How about that? And here we go. So it is probably gonna take up the whole screen since we made it 1080p. That's perfectly fine. We're gonna go ahead and just move it below the webcam. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do now, this seems like a good time to go ahead and add in my chroma key effect to the webcam. So we're gonna go ahead and right click on the webcam source, and we're gonna go to filters. And right now we shouldn't have any filters applied, and we're gonna go ahead and add a new filter, and we're going to go ahead and choose, you guessed it, chroma key. And let's go ahead and add that in here. And right now, you know, as you can see, this isn't perfect by any means, and we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do to make this a little bit better. So usually what I like to do is I like to go ahead and do custom, because my green is usually never quite exactly what we need for the green screen. So I like to do custom on here. Just for the sake of this, and then I may kind of drag this around just a little bit, you know, to find something that's a little bit more like what my green screen looks like. And so let's find this here. We're gonna tweak this, and obviously this is not perfect. This is not necessarily gonna be a tutorial on green screen as a whole. Now this is pretty good right here. This seems like this is gonna work. Whoop, nope. All right, hold up. We had it there. All right, so pretty much exactly what it was at the beginning. So this will be good enough for the purposes of this. Again, this is not a tutorial on green screen lighting and green screen setting. As you can see, there's kind of some weird crap with my hands here, but I think you guys will get the point for what you're going to be doing. You might want to spend a little bit more time. We are going to tweak this just a little bit. You can go down here and adjust the similarity. Just kind of play around with it, move it left, move it right, see what it does, find what looks good for you. See, this is already helping out quite a bit, just moving the similarity down, but depending on your exact lighting setup, your exact colors, you may need to move it a couple different ways here and there. But overall, I think this is actually really good for just a couple of clicks right here. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, and this is more about my setup really just not being that great, I'm gonna go ahead and crop this out because my green screen is not quite big enough for the frame that I have set up here. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and hold Alt, and we're gonna drag over here to start cropping some of this out, because you know, I've got a little bit of my edge of my green screen there, and plus it doesn't matter because this is the top of my head anyway. So now we're kind of getting rid of some of that unnecessary stuff. And what I could even do if I really wanted to, we could even do the same and kind of move the microphone out of the frame. But if you don't mind the microphone being there, then that's fine. So we're just gonna leave it right here for right now. We might tweak around with this a little bit more. And what we're gonna do is now we need to move this radial background down, and we need it to be, you know, around the same size as me, because it's meant to be my background. Now the thing that we're going for here is we want it to be just a little bit smaller. So we're gonna find around this right size here for me. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and when we're scaling it down now, we're gonna go ahead and hold the shift key while we're doing it. And this might be a little bit different based off of which version of Streamlabs you're using, but for the most part, if you hold the shift key, it's going to go ahead and scale it down, but not completely, you know, normal. So this way we can just kind of shrink it down, make it a little bit shorter. And so we're just gonna kind of put it right here for right now, and that's gonna be good enough. Now, what we wanna go ahead and do is get some sort of a border, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make one of those as well really quick. So let's go back into Gimp where we made this background, and we're gonna go ahead and go to File, New. We're gonna make another 1080p file, and let's go ahead and scroll this down, and instead we want this one to actually be completely blank. So we're gonna go ahead and go over here to the layer that we do have. We're gonna make sure that we've added an alpha channel, and we're gonna go ahead and hit delete. And what this does is this is transparency. So what we're gonna wanna go ahead and do is we're gonna wanna go ahead and go to filters, light and shadow, and we're gonna select vignette. And we are gonna wanna go ahead and do square. And we're gonna make a couple of tweaks here. We want the radius to be pretty big here. Now, what we mostly want to change, we're basically adding a border to this. We want the softness to be not very soft, and you might tweak this around based on your own personal preferences, but I'm going to show you guys kind of a standard one here. All right, and here you have it. So you can feel free to use these exact same settings over here. You can feel free to pause the video, take a look at this if you're having a little bit of trouble with this. And again, feel free to tweak them exactly to your liking. And we're gonna go ahead and change the color to something else. We're gonna make it like a bright color. So let's do like a brighter blue to kind of go with the theme of blue, but we do want it to stand out quite a bit from everything else that we got going on. So we're gonna go ahead and select kind of this cyan here just for, example purposes. We're gonna click OK. And we're gonna go ahead and save this, and make sure that you save this one as a .png file. That way it will preserve this transparency here. Otherwise, it's gonna just make it like a solid white or black or something like that underneath it. So make sure, if nothing else, that you save this as a .png file when you export it. Now let's get back into OBS, and we're gonna add one more source. We're gonna wanna go ahead and add another image source, and this is where we're gonna locate that file that we just created. So we're gonna go to add a new source, and we're gonna go to webcam border, and let's click add source. And here we are. We've got the webcam border set up, and again, we're gonna wanna go ahead and scale this down to our liking. And so right here, we're just gonna wanna go ahead and kind of move it to where we need it. And now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go ahead and actually make sure though first that this is ordered in a kind of particular way. So we're gonna wanna go ahead and make sure this is actually below the webcam. And let's see here. So let's go ahead and move this down, and you might have to tweak this. This is all going to depend on exactly what your setting is, but the reason why we want this below the webcam is so that way we can do this. We're going to hold shift on the webcam border, and we're going to scale it down, because the main thing that we want to make sure is that it's actually just surrounding the background that we just made over here. And so we're going to go ahead and change this just a little bit. I'm going to tweak some of these settings here to my liking and to my needs. And we're going to try to line up the bottom of my webcam view to the bottom of the webcam border that we just made. And voila. We've basically got the setup right here. So right now you can see that I have my abilities to kind of move around here in the frame. Now I've got a little bit more leeway up top, and that's what we're going for. And again, as with everything in this tutorial, you can adjust it a little bit more to your liking. If you want to scrunch the webcam down a little bit more and make even more of you kind of popping out of the webcam, that's perfectly fine. You can do whatever it is that you like for yourself. And so now we just add the final touches. Let's go ahead and go to the add new source, and we're gonna add our game or our capture card, whatever it is that you've got. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and add my game capture. We're gonna go ahead and add that source, and we're gonna go ahead and bring that down to the very bottom. Let's go ahead and fire up a game. All right, guys, so we're hopping into some spell break right now. I'm playing the beta for this game, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So anyway, dropping in with the squad and some spell break right now with my pop-out webcam. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like this? I mean, do you think this is something you're gonna be using in your streams? What are some things that you've done to kind of tweak this, make it your own? Or what are some other things that you'd like to see me do or show you guys how to do? So feel free to leave me a comment down below. Be sure to like this video if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe for some more content. Be sure to join my Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/StormPow. You can go in there and chit chat with me, ask me some other questions, pick my brain, or you can also join my Discord server and talk with me and my community and everything. So also be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. You guys have social medias and everything. So anyway, guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning into this video. Hope you have a nice day. And goodbye.